Evan, I talked to you last night, man. I got banned, and you guys said I ran, but I told you I wouldn't run, and it's the second time that happened.
Okay, you got banned. What were we talking about?
Well, Dean was trying to make the point about natural birth citizenship relative to you asked me what do I feel like Trump represents from a Christian position, and I was trying to explain. I think that deportation is a good policy. You guys asked me to reference Leviticus because we're
Oh,
supposed to treat foreigners in the land like citizens, and my counter to that was, well, citizens in
so
the
this was
land
on
have to
Dean's
obey the
Live.
law.
This was on
This
Dean's
was
Live,
on
right?
Dean's Live.
So I,
We
I
were
wasn't
having
there for
a.
most of the conversation. So, and by the way, I was a
You were
guest
with
on that
me.
stream. So,
Yeah, you were
uh,
you were with me. I talked to you. You were the one asking
yeah,
me questions. The question you asked me was, what do I feel like Trump does as a Christian? And my answer was deportation, but you guys kind of cut me off, and then we went into Leviticus, and I refuted Leviticus because I
yeah. Which
said,
I would, which Leviticus was brought up by Dean. So let me go through this.
okay,
A few things here. Right. One, I don't think that you have a basis for it based upon your Christian views, but we don't have to talk about your Christian views. Let's talk about the empirics. Okay. Let's talk about the perspectives. Okay. I don't think that Donald Trump's immigration policy leads to better conditions in terms of our overall state of affairs relating to immigration. Could you explain to me one way that deporting people who have not committed violent crimes or bad crimes would be beneficial for our country?
deporting people that have not, well, it does. The right to citizenship is not guaranteed simply because you did not commit a violent crime. Simply by entering illegally, you have already committed a crime. And if we trespass on any property, we are made to move from that property, right? So, like a natural born American citizen, if I go trespass somewhere, I'm removed from that property.
I'm waiting to hear a way in which people are harmed because like it's not
Oh, by
personal
having,
property.
oh, okay, okay. By having an open border and having 20 million illegals in, we augment the ability of cartels for criminal activity and actually a lot of crimes against humanity when
This
we
is
do
so
not have
frustrating.
control of our
One, I didn't
border.
advocate for an open border. Two, I brought up people who have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes. You're
I
explicitly
answered
not
that though.
answering my question, and you're
No,
changing
I
the
did it. I did
conditions
about the violent
of the
crimes. I
scenario
said
that
I
was brought up to try to then respond to that. That's called a straw man fallacy.
okay. What was wrong with my answer to your question about violent crimes?
You didn't. I said someone who has not
You said,
committed a
"What is
violent
the
crime.
benefit?" You
Of
said, "What is the
deporting someone
benefit?"
who has
Okay, go
not
ahead.
committed a listen. I said, what is the benefit for society for deporting someone who has not committed a violent crime and bad crime or bad crime? Okay, and you responded with, well, having an open border leads to crime happening in the country. I'm asking you, can
That's
you
not
answer
what
the
I
specific
responded with,
question?
Dean.
Yeah, that's exactly what you responded with.
Well, that's what I said in addition to a lot of other stuff.
What else did you say?
Okay. I said that I don't base the right for them to stay here whether they have committed a violent crime or not, meaning I take issue with the nature of your question itself, meaning they have committed a crime. So I don't know why I'm put into a box where they have to commit a violent crime. They could potentially commit a violent crime. We don't
Dude,
know what
he's
a lot
not
of these
listening to
people.
me. Name one
Okay.
way our society is made worse or made better by deporting someone who has not committed a violent crime or bad crime. I'm giving you in this specific example. I'm just asking in that
And I
scenario,
answered that
name
with
one way
if
it
they, okay,
benefits our
okay,
society to deport them.
okay. It gives us greater clarity when we remove undocumented people, whether they have committed a violent crime or a non-violent crime. So when you have 20 million undocumented people and you exit them from your nation, it gives you better clarity on what is actually here to keep people safe. If
What? No,
we
it
deport,
doesn't. I don't. We
yes,
don't
it does.
naturally listen.
Yes, it
We
does.
don't just randomly get more clarity on just
Yeah,
the
what
state
do
of
you mean by
affairs that
clarity?
exists in the world because people have been deported who have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes. That's nonsense. What are you talking about?
It isn't nonsense.
That is totally
You don't know.
nonsense.
Wait. Of the 20 million illegals that are here, you don't know which ones of them have committed violent crime or not. So you're
We do.
assuming.
Wait.
No, we
We are
don't.
saying, listen, we are saying if they've not committed a violent crime or bad crime, they are given a pathway to citizenship and they will go through a vetting process. So that vetting process will determine that. If they have committed a violent crime or bad crime, they will not go through said vetting process because they know what the vetting process will lead to. So it will make it easier for law enforcement to identify anyone who has committed a violent crime or bad crime because anyone who has
Mhm,
not will go through the context of the legal process and go through the vetting
mhm,
process. So it'll be
mhm,
easier to identify anyone who's a threat to the safety and
mhm.
security of our communities.
Yeah, you're going to put 10 plus million people through a vetting process inside the nation that they entered illegally.
I think that they should be given a pathway to citizenship. Yes, if they've not committed a violent crime or bad crime. Yes, I would
Every
love to
single
give them a
one.
vetting. Everyone who has not committed a violent crime or bad crime who's in the country undocumented.
Well, I mean, you gave Trump 34 felonies for a financial glitch that had nothing to do with violence
I
or a
didn't
violent
give
crime to
him
anyone. You
that.
gave him 34
Yeah.
felonies.
Parkergetajob convicted him of that.
Well, no, you endorsed that, though, right? You believe he deserved those 34
Well, I
felonies,
believe it was a
right?
legitimate conviction. Yeah, I believe the court system.
So we give Trump 34 felonies
Yeah, because
for a
he committed
financial
those
error
crimes. For committing
for
those
a
crimes.
financial error, but you want to have a reward for people who have entered a nation on false premises, right?
Hey, you support Donald Trump deporting them without due process, which violates the law. So undocumented immigrants need to go through a legal process to get in the country, but apparently Donald Trump doesn't need to go through a legal process to deport them. You are contradictory over and over and over again. You don't give a shit about crimes. You voted for a guy convicted of 34 crimes, 34
34
felonies.
felonies, 34
Yes.
felonies. So I guess the 20 million people here, they committed 20 million crimes, right, when they came in.
Yeah, and those aren't even felonies. Those are misdemeanors.
I know, but this is my whole point. You invade a nation illegally, right? And you
Invade? They're
are
not
tied.
invading our country.
They are. They
Stop
are.
with the virtue signaling, honestly.
Well, it's not a virtue signal. It's
That is
the
a virtue
truth. They
signal.
came
That
into
is
a
totally.
nation.
It's not an invasion. Shut the fuck up.
What's the virtue I'm espousing?
You're
It's a virtue
specifically
signal. What's the virtue?
you're trying to claim that they invaded the country. So you're trying to claim that you're so noble for saying that they are like invading our country, right? It's trying to make undocumented immigrants look worse and you look better. It's clearly a virtue
It's not about
signal to the
making me
idea of
look
value
better.
that you have in terms of the law because you don't actually care about the law in that way. Because you literally voted for a convicted criminal held civilly liable of someone who pardoned violent rioters, police officers
It's a
who called them
deflection,
patriots.
bro.
This isn't
It's a
deflection. This is
deflection. It
reality.
is a
I'm sorry that
deflection.
you can't accept it. I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt by the facts of reality, but
My
the facts of
feelings aren't
reality
hurt.
don't give a flying about your feelings.
I think it's wild how you can have 20 million people come into a nation illegally.
There
It's
wasn't
tied
20
to an
million
open
people that came
border.
into the
Wait, wait,
country.
wait.
You just deny reality over and over and over again and make up your own
What do
numbers.
you mean?
Give
What do you
give
mean?
me a
What do you
single
mean it's
source
not?
that says 20 million came under
A
the Biden
Yale
Harris
study from
administration.
a Yale study from 2018.
Yeah, 2018 before Biden's administration. Wow, that was a stupid point.
Wait. Which
Wow, that was like the
we had
dumbest point I've ever heard in my life. A
how
study
is it dumb?
from before Biden was even president determined that Biden had 20 million undocumented immigrants coming
No,
into
no,
the
no, no,
country
no,
under
no,
his
no,
administration.
no.
Look at that
I
here.
didn't say 20
First,
million.
folks, in 2018, they used a time travel device to identify that Biden would actually increase the amount of undocumented immigrants into the country.
I didn't
You're
say
you're being
Biden brought
ridiculous.
20 million. I didn't say Biden brought 20 million. I said there
I
are
asked
20
for that.
million
I asked
here.
what's the evidence that Biden under Biden's administration 20 million undocumented immigrants came to the country.
Wait. You just changed the question, buddy. You asked me what's the evidence for 20 million undocumented. I never claimed 20 million came under Biden. Never
That's
said
literally
that.
what you were
I said
just
20
saying,
million
was
are
it not?
here. I said 20 million are here. That is
I
the
think
estimate from the
I know reports that
2018
indicate
Yale
11 to
study.
14. There was not 20
What?
million. What Yale study said that? 20 million.
What are
even.
you talking about 2011 to 2014? I'm talking about in totality.
I didn't even
I've
say
said it
2011 to
times.
2014.
20 million are here by estimate. We
I
don't
said
actually
no.
know how
I
many
said
are
I
here
said
'cause they're
11.
not
I said the population.
documented.
I said the population based upon what I've seen is 11 to 14 million. I'm sorry you're crashing out because of facts.
It's not facts. You asked me a question, I answer it, then you change the question you asked.
I didn't
me.
change
You asked
the
me for
question.
a source, and I gave it to you.
I didn't change the question.
You
I
did.
asked
You
the
said,
question
how do
from
you
the
know
beginning.
20 million are here. Then you added, how do you know 20 million came over during Biden?
Let's listen.
said
I mean,
20 million are here.
you
You
might be
said,
right.
how do you
I'll
know
acknowledge if
20
you're
million
right.
are
Let's
here?
listen in. Let's listen. I'll acknowledge if you're right. There wasn't
tied
20
to an
million people
open
that came into the
border.
country. You just deny reality over and over and over again and make up your own
What do you
numbers.
mean?
Give
What do
me
you
a
mean?
single
What do you
source that says 20 million came under the
Okay,
Biden
there. See?
administration.
See?
Wait. I just
Said-
said it. I said came under the Biden Harris administration. Maybe you didn't hear it, but I did say it. So I just want to clarify.
Well, you said it. You said, tell me how 20 million came in. I'm answering you saying the study, and you said during the Biden administration, as
yeah,
I'm
I
giving you the answer
clarified.
to the 20
I
million.
clarified.
Well, you clarified it now. Okay, but we have reason to
Wait, I
believe
didn't just
there is at
clarify it now. I
least-
clarified it then. But that's fine. If you
No,
didn't
you
hear it,
asked
it's
me a
okay.
question.
Hey,
You
wait, dude,
paused. I began to
hey, dude.
answer.
Hey, dude. It's okay. No need to cry. I will acknowledge that if you specifically didn't hear it, it's not your fault. It's just a
Okay, well
misunderstanding.
that's yeah. So my claim, because I never claimed anything about 20 million coming specifically during the Biden administration, was 20 million people have come into the nation illegally. That
Okay.
is in totality.
Okay. What's
That's
your
a
point with
lot of
saying? What
people,
was your point with
Parker.
saying that? And I, by the way, I mean, I
That it's
still don't
insane.
even think there's enough
To
evidence for
me.
that.
That it's insane to me. It's a priority for you that a man receives 34 felonies because he paid an adult entertainer, but when you have
That's
20
not. That's not
million
the
at
reason why he
least,
got the felonies. You don't
20
even
million
understand the
people at
felonies.
least, and it. Wait,
You
what?
you don't even understand the felonies. Like it wasn't because he paid Stormy Daniels money,
It's
hush
because he
money.
did
It was because
campaign
he
misfinance
falsified.
use.
No, because he falsified business records with a predicate crime. Right? He was engaging in this crime in furtherance of another one. Right? Which is specifically a Class D felony in the state of New York. So you can sit there and you can whine about the fact that Trump got 34 felonies, right? And you can say he shouldn't be held accountable for that, but while also simultaneously saying that undocumented immigrants should be held accountable for misdemeanors.
They should be held accountable for misdemeanors and felonies. They should be accountable for coming
What
into a
felony
nation
did they commit
unlawfully.
from just coming to the country undocumented?
I didn't say they committed a felony. I said they should be.
Exactly.
They should be
Your priority,
accounted
your
for
priority is caring
misdemeanors.
about
Dude, listen to what I
your
just said. I
priority is
said
caring about undocumented
misdemeanors.
immigrants. Your priority is caring about undocumented immigrants who have committed a misdemeanor rather than the president who's committed felonies.
Correct, because I don't. I believe the nature of the misdemeanor, and I believe you weaponize the justice system. It's a total
We
case
did
of
not
lawfare. If you
weaponize the
give a man
justice
34
system. You just
felonies,
believe
you
no, I
give a
think
man 34 felonies. It's
you've weaponized the justice system against undocumented immigrants.
okay. So you guys are gonna mute me again, like last night.
Oh, do you
You're
want to
just gonna
cry
mute
about
me
it?
every. Do you want me to cry?
Yeah.
Do you wanna
I want to see
inflict
tears.
pain
I
on
want to see
people?
tears. I want to see tears. Turn your webcam on right
Is that
now,
your
and I want to
nice
see
liberal
tears.
side? Is
Yes.
that your nice
Turn
liberal
turn your
side?
camera on right now. I want to see tears.
Is
Please
that
cry. Cry right now,
I'll turn
please.
my camera on for you.
Please turn your camera on right now and cry. I want to see tears. I want to see tears
Yeah.
coming right out of your face right now.
That's funny. Did you want to see Charlie Kirk?
No.
A lot of your people did. Is that the kind of people you are?
No, I don't
You
think that
want
he
to
should have
see
been. I
Wait,
want to
wait.
see your
You
tears.
want to
Yes.
see tears?
Yes,
You
I want to see your
want to
tears.
see tears?
I want you to
You
cry
want
on
to see
stream.
my
Yes.
tears?
Yes.
Yeah? That's
Yes.
not very nice, Parker.
That is very nice.
That's not very nice.
I think it's very nice.
I thought you guys were the side of tolerance and compassion. That's not very nice.
Yeah, we are just for not bullshit and literally lies that you're engaging in right
No,
now.
no, no, no. The 34 felonies are bullshit. And
No,
the
they're
20
not.
million
They
people
they
here illegal
literally
are
there is a
reality.
criminal conviction with a determination from a jury in a criminal court beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
I know that you don't like accepting facts and evidence
Yeah.
and beyond a
He really
reasonable
broke
doubt
the law.
evidence.
He
Wait,
really
it's-
broke the law.
The
huh?
evidence is so good that it's beyond a reasonable doubt, but yet you still don't believe it.
What do you mean the evidence for what? The felonies?
For the felonies, yeah.
Yeah, it was manufactured from a misdemeanor into a felony because it happened during a campaign.
No,
It
because he
normally was a misdemeanor.
committed a predicate crime. You didn't listen to what I said.
Well, you speak a mile. I'm trying to talk about. We have cartels inside the nation. We have cartels pretty much ruling the government of the country they come from. We don't really know the extent of who commits what crimes because they're undocumented.
What is this pivot?
And it doesn't affect you.
Wait,
It doesn't
listen.
affect you.
Watch
it doesn't
this.
affect you because you don't live in the area.
I live
You
in
don't
Los
live on a border
Angeles.
state. You
I
don't
live in
live near
Los
the
Angeles.
border.
I live in Los Angeles. I live in California. That's
Yeah.
a border state last time I checked.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you,
What
and,
the are you
and
talking about? I live in Southern California.
Wait. You live in a low income neighborhood or a mid income neighborhood?
I would probably say it's like a middle income neighborhood.
Of course it is. You're never near the problem. Any of you liberals, you never are. You're always isolated from things. You live in privilege, and then you don't care about regular working class Americans and what they have to deal with. You don't care.
So
You
because
come from
I'm
privilege.
so because I'm a college student or not a college student, I just got out of college and I live in a middle income area. You're saying that I'm privileged because of that. Do you live in a middle income area?
You're in a.
Wait, do you live in a middle income area?
Yeah, I do.
Shut the up, you dishonest,
Yeah, but
privileged bullshit point. You just called yourself privileged. You literally just said it was privilege for me to be in a
do
middle
have
income
privilege.
area while also
do have
simultaneously being in one yourself. That is the most embarrassing talking point I've ever heard of.
No, the difference is I care about the people it's affecting. I recognize my isolation from that. The same way as I'm not in Gaza, but I can care about people in Gaza. But I'm saying you live in a middle. You live in a middle income
I
area
never
of
said that I
Los
didn't care about
Angeles.
people in low income. I advocate for policies to benefit them. You said
You
because I
don't care
live in a
about what's
middle.
happening. You don't care about what's happening to border states. You
Yes, I
don't
do.
care.
Border
No, you
states,
don't.
wait, border cities specifically have lower rates of crime. Undocumented immigrants commit multiple times lower rates of violent crime, property crime in the country compared to natural born U.S. citizens. 80 to 90% of DRUGS that are brought across the border specifically are brought by U.S. citizens. By the way, you can't say any DRUG name. I don't want you to get kicked from the stream, but I'm just telling you right now, that is a ridiculous assertion for you to make that undocumented immigrants are causing crime. The policies I'm advocating for will actually embolden law enforcement to have the ability to go after people who have committed violent crimes and bad crimes, not those that are literally upholding their families, working for a better life for their communities and for their loved ones. Be real here. We do not want to be deporting people's family members that are just working for a better life. We want to be deporting the criminal members that are making this country a worse place, not the people who are just coming here for a better life. And yes, they have violated a crime specifically by coming here undocumented, but that does not mean that they should be punished in a manner where they should be kicked out of the country because they're not a threat to our safety and security, and our current legal immigration process takes too long to go through. On average, multiple years. We need to make that process go quicker. So we have to understand that our process sucks right now.
So when you talk about crimes, you're talking about people who have already been convicted of a crime, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about people who have been convicted of bad
Convicted of a crime.
crimes.
So you don't actually know who has committed a crime or not, because you
We
don't
do.
even know who's in your nation. No, you don't. No, you
Wait,
know
wait,
who's
wait,
committed a crime.
how do you
before they're charged? People can't
No, no,
commit crimes
what?
without being
Wait,
charged. You're
wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait.
people convicted of a crime, not committing a crime. You don't know who commits a crime. And I'll tell you this: 100% of them committed a crime when they came over the border.
Say, okay, so you say potentially.
100%
so
of them
you're saying,
committed a crime when they came
you're
over the
saying,
border.
So you're saying undocumented immigrants could potentially, right, commit crime. Well, actually, based upon the study I just mentioned to you, they are less likely to commit crime than natural born U.S. citizens. Natural born U.S. citizens are more likely to commit these types of crimes. This same propagandistic talking point that undocumented immigrants are committing all of these different types of crimes is absurd and ridiculous. You sound absurd sitting here and arguing that when they're disproportionately less likely based upon population to commit those types of crimes. Disproportionately taking into account population per capita.
It's based on self-reported crime studies and census information that deals with voluntary involvement in the study, right? So we don't have data on the majority of these undocumented people. You are using statistics based on known individuals that we can gather data from. There's actually no way for us to measure those kind of things with people that we have no clue who they are, what they do, where they came from, what their background is. So your statistics are flawed already. They're
No, they're
based on
not.
census and FBI self-reported data. There's no way
Wait,
to
self-reported
take
by who?
measurements
Self-reported
of
by who?
undocumented people.
Self-reported by who?
Self-reported by people who participate in the surveys. Self-reported by people who, when you go to a census house
And that is?
someone's undocumented there, and they still give you the information.
Wait,
from
and
the
who is
census.
that? And
Do
who
you not
involves
think people
themselves in the
avoid
survey?
that? Do you
Who
not think
involves themselves
undocumented
in the
people avoid
survey?
that?
Who involves themselves in the survey?
When you go door to door with the census, right? People who are in the home, sometimes they choose to involve themselves.
So are you
and
saying the
sometimes they don't.
census? Wait, are you saying the census can't accurately estimate population?
It can't accurately estimate undocumented population because we already have like $5 million, $8 million
about this?
discrepancy in the greatest studies trying to tell us who's even here.
How about this? Let's start here. If you want more people to be vetted, the process I'm advocating for ensures that the most amount of people are vetted as possible. Think about it this way. If an undocumented immigrant is in the country and under your system you advocate for mass deportation, there's no incentive for them to identify themselves to authorities, and yet they'll go into the shadows to a greater extent. So there will be less people, specifically who are already in the country undocumented, that will go through the vetting process. Under my system, if they have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, they will go through the vetting process because it will ensure that they have better sets of conditions for themselves in this country. So clearly they would do that if they do not have to leave the country, which will ensure that more people within this country will be vetted. And then it will make it easier for law enforcement to identify anyone who has committed violent crimes and bad crimes and is a threat to our safety and security as a community. As again, people who would be going through the process undocumented would likely meet that criteria because they could have gone through the legal process very quickly, right, and gone through the vetting process. So it'll make it easier for law enforcement. It will make the legal process go significantly quicker, right? If we actually invest in it instead of militarizing ICE, and right, our country as a whole will be more safe and secure.